Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the session. Today's session is all about how to spot the errors. Usually in competitive exams, whether it is prelims level or mains level, you can expect 5 questions, minimum 5 questions related to spot the errors. And you can spot the errors based on your grammar knowledge. But in the exam, you got to have certain strategies how to spot the errors. You can't read the sentence without any strategy to find out where the error is. Today's session, I'm going to talk about what are the strategies you're supposed to use when it comes to spotting the errors and how to save your time in the exam. Saving your time is very important. Let us start with, let me write here, strategies. All these strategies save your time and one reading usually, not all the questions, at least 4 questions out of 5. One reading you can spot the error. The first one, focus on the time phrase. This is the most important strategy. And if you focus on, when you read a particular sentence, you focus on the time phrase. Usually you come across a time phrase. Out of 5 questions, 1 question you may not see the time phrase, but 4 questions you see the time phrase. And when you read a particular sentence looking for the error, always back up your mind, you look for the time phrase. Once you see the time phrase, you may ask, sir, why should we focus on the time phrase? Once you see the time phrase, you can decide the sentence has to be in which particular tense. And based on that, you can find out the error. I will give one example. It is raining in the city since Monday. When you read a sentence like this in the exam, it is raining in the city since Monday. How do you decide where the error is? How do you decide whether the sentence is right or wrong? Based on the time phrase. When you read the sentence, it is raining in the city since Monday, you have to focus on, you have to look for the time phrase. And once you come across the time phrase, you have to focus on it and recollect, since Monday, this expression, this phrase, the preposition since and the specific time, since 10:30, since October, since Monday, since 2010, you should recollect and ask yourself, this time phrase goes with which particular tense? This goes with 2 tenses. One is a present perfect tense, the other one is present perfect continuous. But here it is raining. Already the verb is in ing form, present participle. Then here perhaps the situation talks about something started in the past, it is in the present, it may go into future. So here, since Monday, then we cannot use present continuous. It should be, it has been raining in the city since Monday. It should be in present perfect continuous. And when you take this strategy, this is the most important thing in my opinion. When I read a particular sentence, this is my approach, this is my strategy. One reading, I know where the error is. And the technique I use or the strategy I use, I look for the time phrase. The moment I see the time phrase, I know for sure it has to be in which tense, and accordingly, I go back, I refer, and I know where the error is. It is raining in the city since Monday. The moment I see since Monday, I know it has to be either present perfect or present perfect continuous. Then I see here it is in present continuous. I know for sure. If the sentence is divided, it one part and is raining another, in the city one more part, since Monday the fourth part. I know for sure there is an error in the second part. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the exam, fortunately, they don't ask you to write the correct expression. But you should know for sure why there is an error and what exactly the error is. Excuse me. So here, when you see since Monday, there is no ambiguity. It is raining, present continuous. We cannot use present continuous with since Monday, and it should be. It has been raining in the city since Monday. When I tell this, some students ask, they get the doubt, sir, why not touch the time? Why don't we change the time? Please remember, in the exam, unless and until there's a specific rule that goes with time phrases, you should not touch the time. Based on the time phrase, you have to decide the tense. I'll give one example, then you understand. It has rained yesterday. It has rained yesterday. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? Again, when you read, it has rained yesterday, your focus should be on yesterday, the time phrase. Then based on yesterday, we should decide the sentence is wrong. This part is in present perfect. Yesterday, present perfect, wrong combination. We cannot use independent time in the past with present perfect tense. And whenever there is independent time in the past, we are supposed to use past tense. So what is wrong with this sentence? It has rained is not correct. It should be in past. It rained yesterday. It rained yesterday, past tense. Then here, students ask me, so why not strike off yesterday? Then there is no time, past action, time is not there. We can use present perfect. Then it has rained. The sentence is correct. Please remember, in the exam, let us imagine this sentence has been divided into three parts. It has rained yesterday. Now you should never touch the time. You should never touch the time phrase. Based on the time phrase, in the exam, imagine it has rained. Where is the error? You choose a third part, then you lose marks. You have to choose. There is an error in the second part. This is not correct. And you may ask, sir, why? You cannot touch the time. Based on the time, you should decide which tense. Here, what is the time yesterday? Yesterday, it goes with past tense, but the sentence is in present perfect. Subject, you don't have to touch. Here, has rained. That is not correct. You have to strike off the word has. In the exam, you don't have to write the correct form, but you should know where the error is. And how do you decide that? Based on the time phrase. I hope you got it. Here, the first and foremost strategy when it comes to spot the errors or when it comes to spotting the errors, focus on the time phrase. When you read a particular sentence, look for the time phrase deliberately. Imagine this is a very short sentence. Here it is raining in the city since Monday. It has rained yesterday. Short sentences. Imagine there's a lengthy sentence, like a paragraph. Read. But back of the mind, you should look for the time phrase. And whenever you come across in the sentence a particular time phrase, focus on that. And based on that, you decide the sentence should be in which particular tense. Then what is the advantage if you take this particular approach? Based on the time phrase, you decide whether the sentence is right or wrong. The advantage, you know for sure where the error is. There's no ambiguity whatsoever. And when there's no ambiguity, you have answered this question. You have answered this question. Imagine this is the second one. When you go to the third question, excuse me. When you go to the third question, you feel comfortable. Nothing disturbs you. But there's some sort of ambiguity here, Then third question, you cannot answer comfortably. And that may make a negative impact on handling that, when it comes to handling that particular question. So when you use the first strategy, what is the first strategy? Focus on the time phrase. What happens? You can spot the error, one thing, and you can do it with immense confidence, second thing, and there's no ambiguity whatsoever. You can go to the next question with a lot of comfort, with a lot of ease. Now let us see. And these time phrases, where do they go? And they obviously go with tenses. Already I have taught you. Here you have to recollect time phrases. What are the different time phrases that go with tenses? These time phrases are tense specific. These are tense specific. Tense specific, what does it mean? They go with specific tenses. Yesterday cannot be used with present. Yesterday cannot be used with present continuous. So they go with specific tenses. Now you have to recollect. Today the session is all about what are the strategies and what you're supposed to recollect. and how to reorient your learning when it comes to grammar knowledge. So here, I'm going to start with present tense. I'm going to stop with future perfect continuous. Each tense I'm going to give the time phrases, most important ones. Because when I taught basics, you must have learned already. And usually when I take classes related to English grammar, every tense I give the students specific time phrases. So let us start with the first one, present tense. What are the time phrases that go with present tense? Every day, every morning. When I say every morning, you should take it for granted. Every evening, every night, every afternoon. Then when I say every Monday, you can use every Tuesday, every Wednesday. It doesn't matter the day, but every Saturday. And often, important one, regularly, repeatedly, once a week. It is not once in a week, once a week, once a month, once in 5 days. If you mention the number of days, you can use a preposition in. But when it comes to week, month, don't use in. Once a week, once a month. And here, once in 5 days, etc. All these time phrases go with present tense. He played tennis every day. Not correct. He plays tennis every day. Independent sentence. If you see a sentence like he played tennis every day, it is obviously wrong. You cannot use past tense, you have to use present tense. He plays tennis every day. So every morning, every Monday, often, regularly, repeatedly, and frequently, once a week, once a month, once in 5 days. Remember, these time phrases you have to memorize. They should be at your fingertips. No second thoughts about that. If you cannot remember the time phrases that are specific to a particular tense, you cannot handle the question. You cannot spot the error. But you know for sure, the moment you see often, she went to the library often. Next second, you should be able to spot the error. On what basis? You see the word often, you have to recollect. Often goes with present tense, repeated action. Then we cannot use the sentences in past. She went to the library often. It is not correct. What is the reason? She went to the particular library, often. Now, how do you decide where the error is? One word is enough often, time phrase. It could be one word, it could be a phrase, it could be a clause, it doesn't matter. She went to the library often. Here, independent sentence, the context doesn't talk about past. How do you decide? Based on the adverb of time. What is it? Adverb of frequency, often. Here, often goes with present tense, but the verb is in past, so it is not correct. She goes. She goes to the library often. She goes to the library every Monday. She goes to the library regularly. She goes to the library once a week. 1 second you can decide the sentence should be in present tense, not in past tense. And what is the best part of this approach? I always tell students, there are 2 dimensions when it comes to spotting the errors. One, when you attempt a particular question, you tell yourself there is an error in the first part or second part or third part or the fourth part. There should not be any ambiguity. You should know for sure there is an error in the second part. Imagine. And when you go for the second option, where is the error? Second option, you should be damn sure about that. There should not be any ambiguity. And a question like this, you go for, imagine it has been divided 4 parts. She went to the library often. And when you see the word often, you know for sure it is not. It should not be in past tense, it should be in present tense. And here, you know there is an error. This part is not correct. Which part is it? Second part. Went is not correct. Goes is correct. Then when you answer this based on your knowledge. You should be very comfortable. You should be happy. No ambiguity. Then the next question, you can focus on the next question. But imagine first question, you answer, you choose one of the options, and you're not sure whether it is right or wrong. Then the next question also, same ambiguity, you cannot answer comfortably. That should not happen. That is very dangerous when it comes to objective type exams. Now let us go to the second tense. What is the second one? Systematic approach. Present, after that, present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. What are the time phrases that go with present continuous tense? Now. Right now, emphatic. At the moment. These days. Nowadays. Continuously. Continuously, etc. But quite often, exam point of view, you got to remember these days, nowadays. Now, right now, at the moment, easy to make out. Sentence is in present continuous. But in the exam, they give these two words. They have given many a time. These days, nowadays. And continuously, very rare. Actually, continuously should go with present tense, but it goes with present continuous. It has a meaning. When you say, she is committing or he is committing mistakes continuously, it means repeatedly. But we are supposed to use present tense. This particular word, we use present continuous. What is the reason? It has a meaning. When I say, he is committing mistakes continuously, it means I'm not happy with him. It means I'm trying to complain. It talks about complaining about someone. Now let us have a look at these words, these days and nowadays. These two are very important. I usually teach English, but these days, I hope it's clear, but these days I teach French. Now, how do you decide where the error is? Based on one word or one expression, one phrase. What is it? These days. When you see these days, then you should recollect these days goes with present continuous, not with present tense. I usually teach English, nothing wrong with this clause, but these days I teach English. This is not correct. These days I am teaching. I am teaching French. I usually teach English, but these days I am teaching French. I am teaching present continuous. These days goes with present continuous. 1 second you can spot the error. Let us go to the third one. Past tense. Past tense, what are the time phrases? Yesterday, day before, yesterday, last week. When I say last week, last month, last year, obviously understood. Last month, in my childhood. You got to listen. This is, as I said, when it comes to the time aspect, it could be a single word, that means adverb of time. It could be a phrase, adverbial phrase of time. It could be a clause, adverbial clause of time. In my childhood, this goes into the past, adverbial phrase of past time. When I was a boy, when I was a boy. This is a clause. When I was a boy, I did something. You have to use past tense. And one more here. If you read stories, you come across these time phrases. Once upon a time. Once upon a time there was a king. Long, long ago. Yesterday, last week, last month, the day before yesterday, and today, imagine today is Tuesday. On Monday means yesterday. Today is, let us say, Thursday. Then Monday goes into the past, on Monday. And you could also use in 2010. In 2010, not since 2010, in 2010, in October, etc. Any time phrase that goes into the past tense takes time phrases that go into the past. All these go into the past. And it could be one word, it could be a phrase, it could be a clause. You have to use past tense. Now, let me give one example. Each tense I will give one example. I have played tennis last week. I have played tennis last week. How do you decide where the error is? Here, what is the time phrase? Last week. That goes with past tense. But here the sentence is in present perfect. So it is not correct. I have played is not correct. I played tennis last week. That is a correct sentence. As simple as that. Now let us go to what is the fourth one? Past continuous tense. Out of already you have learned there are 12 tenses. Two tenses, they go with combinations. They are known as combinational tenses. And 10 tenses, they take the time phrases. This is a combinational tense. So I will not touch this one. After the first strategy, what is the first strategy? Look at the time phrase. Once I complete that, I will go to the second strategy. The second strategy talks about when there is no time phrase, what are you supposed to do? So hold this one, past continuous tense. It doesn't take a time phrase. It goes with another tense. It is called a combinational tense. This one and past perfect, you don't have to worry at this stage. Now we'll go to the fifth one. What is the fifth one? Future tense. What are the time phrases? Any time that goes into future. Tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Later. Afterwards. Soon. Next Monday. Next month. Now imagine the time is morning 10:30. You can also say in the evening. You can say at 5:30. Any time that goes into future, we use future tense, takes any time that goes into future. All these time phrases, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, on Monday, on Tuesday, next month, next year, later, afterwards, soon, all these go into future. And you have to use future tense. And same time phrases, if you take, what is the next one? Future continuous tense. Same time phrases. All these time phrases go with future continuous tense as well. I will teach tomorrow. I will teach a particular topic tomorrow. I will be teaching a particular topic tomorrow. Tomorrow, common. I will teach, I will be teaching. Future tense, future continuous tense. They take the same time phrases. But sometimes, here, I will teach, let us say, one particular topic at this time tomorrow. Generally, their action is going on. Then we use future continuous. I will be teaching English at this time tomorrow. I will be teaching tenses at this time tomorrow. Now, this is all about the basic tenses. Let us go to perfect tenses and what time phrases they take. The first one here, continuation 6 over 7th one. What is the next one after basic tenses? Perfect tenses. What is the first perfect tense? Present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. What are the time phrases? We use two prepositions, since Monday, since November, one time phrase with the preposition since, and another time phrase with the preposition for. For 2 days, for 3 months. It also takes ever since she got married, since his childhood, etc. Not only these, incomplete time period. Any adverb of time or adverbial phrase indicates incomplete time period, we should use present perfect. For example, today. Imagine today obviously not complete, so you should use present perfect. This week, incomplete, present perfect. This month. All these time phrases go with present perfect tense. These are rather exclusive. They go with present perfect. But all these, if you take since Monday, since November, for 2 days, for 3 months, ever since she got married, this is a clause that goes into the past. And since his childhood, this is a phrase that goes into the past. But here, if you don't use since, in his childhood, you should use past tense. Since his childhood, you have to use present perfect. That you should remember. For example, he has written. Sometimes it is slippery. He has written. I will strike off the sentence. He has written 2 books since his He has written 2 books since his childhood. Here, since his childhood is correct. And we have to use present perfect. So this is also correct. He has written 2 books since his childhood. Imagine, since his childhood, then I use past tense. He wrote 2 books since his childhood, then it is not correct. But if you want to use past tense, then you have to change the time phrase. He wrote 2 books in his childhood. He wrote 2 books in his childhood, that is right. He has written 2 books since his childhood, that is also right. So appropriate time phrase important. One more example with today, this week, this month. I saw the manager. I saw the manager today. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? I saw the manager today. Today is incomplete. Then we cannot use past tense. We have to use present perfect. What is the correct sentence? I have seen the manager today. I saw the manager yesterday, that is right. I have seen the manager today, this is also right. But you cannot say, I saw the manager today, that is wrong. Today, incomplete, then we have to use present perfect tense. Next one, present perfect continuous tense. This also takes more or less time phrases like these. Since Monday. Since Monday. Since December. For the last 2 days. For the past 2 days. You can use last 2 days or past 2 days. since her childhood. All those phrases you can use here. Since Monday, since December, for the last 2 days, for the past 2 days, for the past 3 months, since her childhood, ever since she got married. All these go with present perfect continuous. One example, it is, I have given this example, I don't mind repeating. It is raining since Monday, or it is raining for the last 2 days. Here, this is wrong, this is wrong. What is the reason? Since Monday, we cannot use present continuous. What is the correct sentence? It is raining since Monday, not correct. It has been raining since Monday, or it has been raining for the last 2 days. Has been raining since Monday for the last 2 days. These two are time phrases that go with present perfect continuous. Now let us go to the next one. Here, so far you got, this is 8th. Past perfect tense. This is also a combinational tense. We don't use a time phrase, we use another tense. So you don't have to worry about that at this stage. And what is the next one? Past perfect continuous tense. This is important. Here we use at this time. We use for 2 hours. At this time yesterday. What is important here? The time period is important. Time period for 2 hours, for 2 years, at a given time in the past. What is a given time in the past? At this time yesterday. One more example. For 3 years, at this time last year. What is important here? For 2 hours, for 3 years, this time period is important, and the time at a given time in the past. What is a given time in the past? At this time yesterday, at this time last year. And this is not easy in the exam to spot the error. I will give one example. They gave in SBI. She was teaching for 2 years when I met her in 2000, let us take 18. She was teaching for 2 years when I met her in 2018. When I met her in 2018, that is the time given in the past. It is like at this time last year. When I met her in 2018. Or simply when I met her, that goes into the past. When I met her in 2018 goes into the past, at a given time in the past. And for 2 years, the time period. When you see the time period and a context in the past, then you cannot use past continuous. This sentence is wrong. We should use past perfect continuous. What is the correct sentence? She was is not correct. She had been teaching. She had been teaching for 2 years when I met her, or she had been teaching for 2 years when I met her in 2018. This is important. Not easy under pressure. Now let us go to the next one. Future perfect tense. By tomorrow, by this time tomorrow, by Monday, by 2022, etc. The most important clue for you when it comes to future perfect tense, the preposition by and a given time in future. By plus time in future. By this time tomorrow, Monday, 2022. By plus time in future, you should use future perfect. How do they ask the question? She will complete the work by Monday. Now, this sentence is wrong. How do you decide? It is in future tense. She will complete. And this is a common error. A lot of people say this. She will complete the work by Monday. But the moment you see the preposition by Monday means what? By a given time in future. Then you cannot use by a given time in future, some action will be over. Some action will be completed. Then you cannot use future tense. You have to use future perfect tense. What is the correct sentence? She will have completed. She will complete is not correct. She will have completed the work by Monday. She will have completed. That is future perfect tense. Now let us go to the last one. Future perfect continuous. What are the time phrases? Future perfect continuous tense. For 2 hours, at this time, tomorrow, for 3 months in 2022. Here, what is important, like past perfect continuous, I said the time phrase is important, time period is important. The same way, time period and the time in future, very important, time period, for 2 hours, for 3 months. And what is the time at this time tomorrow in 2022? How will they ask the question? He will be teaching for 2 years in 2022. This is not correct. For 2 years time period in 2022, time in future. Then you cannot use future continuous. You have to use future perfect continuous. What is the correct sentence? He will be teaching, not correct. He will have been teaching. He will have been teaching for 2 years in 2022. Not easy under pressure. So this is all about the time phrases, how to spot the errors based on the time phrases. First strategy. Now strategy number 2. What is the second strategy? If there is no time phrase, think of 2 situations. Now, if there's a time phrase, you can decide where the error is, which tense it has to be in. Based on that, you can decide where the error is. But quite often in the exam, they give questions without a time phrase. Then how do you decide which tense? If there is no time phrase, this is very important. If there is no time phrase, think of 2 things you have to think of. One, A, combinational tenses. You have to think of combinational tenses. These are 2 in number. One is past continuous, the other past perfect. Combinational tenses. You should think of combinational tenses. What are the combinational tenses? Past continuous tense, past perfect tense. He is writing a letter when I went home. Imagine A sentence like this: he's writing a letter when I went home. He is writing a letter, present continuous, when I went home, past tense. Here there is no time. When I went home, something happened in the past. That time something was going on. So, based on the context, here, when I went home, something was going on. Where is the error? We cannot use present continuous, we have to use past continuous. He was writing. He was writing a letter when I went home. How do you decide? Context in the past, I went home. That time something was going on. So we should use past continuous tense, not present continuous tense. This is based on the knowledge related to combinational tenses. One more example, past perfect. I have given one example, past continuous. Now past perfect example. They started the program before the chief guest arrived. They started the program before the chief guest arrived. Here you don't see the time phrase. Then how do you spot the error? There's a clue for you. What is it? The conjunction before. When we use conjunctions like before, by the time, when, after, we should think of past perfect tense, one thing. And also look at the context. Here there are two actions. They started the program, the chief guest arrived. In the past, when two actions happened, one after the other, then for the first action we should use past perfect tense. For the second action we should use past tense. Nothing wrong with the second clause, the chief guest, before the chief guest arrived. This is a second action, it should be in past, it is in past. But the sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? The first clause is a problem. They started the program, that is in past, but it should be in past perfect. So what is missing? They had started the program before the chief guest arrived. That sentence is correct. They had started. They started past tense, not correct. They had started past perfect. That is correct. This is the first dimension, A. No time freeze. Think of A, combinational tenses. Now B. This is very important. Think of the context. Contextual awareness. Excuse me, sorry about that. Contextual awareness is very important, the context. If the context goes into the past, you have to use past verbs. Then you may ask, so how do we know the context? It depends on, imagine in a sentence you have two verbs or three verbs, rather three verbs. Two verbs are in past, one is in present. Obviously, the context goes into the past, then you cannot use a verb in present. Let us have a look at when he was a boy, he faced a lot of problems. When he was a boy, he faced a lot of problems and he can handle many of them, or I will use the word, he can solve many of them. When he was a boy, he faced a lot of problems and he can solve many of them. Here, he was a boy, past verb, faced a lot of problems, past verb. Two verbs are in the past, then we cannot use a helping verb in the present form. He can, this talks about present, and we should use the past form. What is the past form of can? This is not correct. He could. When he was a boy, he faced a lot of problems and he could solve many of them. This is what I call context. The context goes into the past. Then you should use all the verbs in the past. This is the second strategy. First strategy, when you read a sentence to spot the error, look for the time phrase. Based on the time phrase, decide which tense you can spot the error. Second strategy, if there is no time phrase, think of A, combinational tenses, B, the context. Now let us go to the third strategy. If you see the word if, think of conditional sentences or conditionals. If you see the word in the sentence, you see the word if. Think of conditional sentences. Example. If you work hard, you will get success. This is one sentence. In the exam, they may give. There's nothing wrong. If you work hard, you will get success. Imagine in the exam, if she worked hard, she will get success. If she worked hard, she will get success. Now, how do you decide whether this sentence is right or wrong? The moment you see the word if, you have to think of conditional sentences. If is there, that means in English, broadly, we have three types of conditionals. What are they? Present conditionals, past conditionals, zero conditionals. But total number 4. Present conditionals, 2 in number. Open conditional and hypothetical conditional. And here, how do you decide where the error is? You should always look at the main clause. This is the main clause. This is the if clause. Main clause, she will get success. This is future tense. If the main clause is in future tense, then if clause should be in present because it is about open conditional. Open conditional. In open conditional, we use the main clause in future tense and we use if clause in present tense. So where is the error? If she worked hard, it is in past, it is not correct. If she works hard, she will get success. If she works hard, she will get she will get selected. So how do you decide? Never touch the if clause. Always look at the main clause. Based on that, you decide it should be in which conditional. She will get success. Main clause in future tense. It is open conditional. And what are the two tenses that go with open conditional? Main clause in future tense and if clause in present tense. This is how you have to. This is strategy number 3. Now strategy number 4. If you see words like said, asked, told, ordered, requested, etc. You should think of reported speech or indirect speech. If you see words like said, asked, told, ordered, requested, said goes with statements, asked goes with questions, told, ordered, they go with commands, and requested, it goes with request. In indirect speech, if you see all these words, you should think of reported speech. He said that he is writing a letter. He said that he is writing a letter. Now, how do you spot the error? The moment you see the word said, you should become alert. Said. It goes with statements in indirect speech. Statements, reported speech. And here, this is a reporting verb. If the reporting verb is in past tense, then what is the rule you have learned? All the tenses go to change to a corresponding past tense. So what is the actual statement? He must have said, he said, comma, inverted commas, I am writing a letter. I am writing a letter, present continuous, and it changes to past continuous. He said that he is writing a letter. then the sentence is not correct. He said that he was writing a letter. What is the reason? Present continuous changes to past continuous. How do you decide that? Based on the reporting verb said. Said goes with statements, indirect speech or reported speech, and said is in the past. If the reporting verb is in past, the tenses change to a corresponding past tense. And what could be the actual statement? I am writing a letter, that is present continuous, changes to past continuous. Next. If you see the word being and the verb, think of passive voice continuous tenses. If you see the word being, this is a clue for you, and the verb, think of passive voice continuous tenses. The verb, actually it should be in past participle form. They may change the verb form. For example, it is being teach by him. How do you decide where the error is? The clue for you, being, it is being by him. This is in present continuous passive voice. Any sentence in passive voice, the main verb should always be in past participle form. Teach, taught, taught. So it is being taught, it is being taught by him. This is present continuous passive voice. It is being taught by him when I went there. It is being. Here I will add the time. It is being taught by him now. It is being taught by him when I went there. When I went there, this goes into the past. When I went there, something was going on, and it is in passive voice. It is being taught by him when I went there. Not correct. Here it should be, it was. It is being taught by him now. Yes, it is right. It is being taught by him when I went there. Not correct. It was being taught by him when I went there. Very important, being the clue. Then if you see, the helping verb to be and the verb past participle form. If you see the helping verb to be and the verb past participle form, think of basic tenses. Here, think of passive voice, continuous tenses. Here, think of, I will change it. Think of passive voice, brackets, basic tenses. Example, English was taught by him every Monday. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? English was taught by him every Monday. Every Monday, already you know the time phrase, it goes with present tense. Here sentence is in past, helping verb was, verb past participle form, and it is in past tense passive voice. But here every Monday, it should be in present tense passive voice. So English was taught by him every Monday, not correct. English is taught. English is taught by him every Monday. And the next one, what is the number? Seventh one. If you see If you see the word been, what is been? Past participle form of the helping verb to be. If you see the word been and the verb past participle form, think of passive voice, perfect tenses. Again, think of passive voice, perfect tenses. Example. The work has been completed before I went there. The work has been completed before I went there. When you see been completed, the word been, past participle form of the helping verb to be, and verb past participle form, then you should think of passive voice. But what is the context here? Two actions. First action, second action. Before, what is the clue? Before. I went there. Second action, it should be in past. Nothing wrong with this. But the first action, it should be in past perfect passive voice. The work has been completed. This is present perfect passive voice. It is not correct. It should be had been. The work had been completed before I went there. If you see a question tag, think of the appropriate helping verb. If you see a question tag, think of the appropriate helping verb. Appropriate helping verb means the helping verb that goes with a particular tense. He has completed the work. Isn't he? He has completed the work, isn't he? He has completed the work. This isn't present perfect. What is the appropriate helping verb here? Has. Then we cannot say, isn't he? This is wrong. He has completed the work. What is the appropriate helping verb? Has. So, has plus not, hasn't. Hasn't he? That is right. Next, strategy. Think of subject, verb, agreement. This is the most important. In bank exams, quite often they ask questions related to subject, verb, agreement. Think of subject, verb, agreement. The student of this college, the student of this college are quite I will change it to let me use the specific. The student of this college means particular student. The student of this college, someone we are talking about, he is a student of this college. The student of this college are quite intelligent. What is the subject here? Student. And we cannot say are. It should be the student who belongs to this college is quite intelligent. The student, that particular student of this college is quite intelligent. Subject verb agreement. Very important. This is an easy example, but quite often they try to make it a little complicated. In the exam, if you cannot spot the error after using all those strategies, then look at the subject, look at the verb, think of subject verb agreement. Think of word forms. Imagine you could not spot the error after trying out all those strategies. Then you should look at the word forms. You should think of word forms. Here, parts of speech. Word forms related to parts of speech. The next one, think of rules that go with parts of speech. There are about 125 rules that go with parts of speech. So one glance, you have a look at the sentence. You have to recollect rules that go with parts of speech. If you cannot find the error after using all those strategies. Next one, think of articles. You could not spot the error after trying out, then think of articles, rules related to articles. For example, he likes to live in an European city. He likes to live in an European city. This is not correct. And the first letter is a vowel letter, but it has a consonantal sound, U, ya sound. Then we cannot say an European city. He likes to live in a European city. Based on rules that go with articles, you have to. So these are the strategies you have to employ when it comes to spotting the errors. All these should be at your fingertips. Only then you can. As I said, when it comes to time phrases, when it comes to the word if, when it comes to passive voice related rules, when it comes to reported speech, rather easy to spot the error. After that, imagine when it comes to subject verb agreement, rather easy. But you don't find an error when you look at all these aspects. Then you have to, the last three, these are rather difficult. You should think of word forms. For example, they have discovered the silence killer. They have discovered the silence killer. Here silence, here it could be a verb, it could be a noun, and killer is a noun. Before a noun, we should not use a noun or a verb. We should use an adjective. Silence, it is a right word, but not the correct form, wrong form. So word form, here it should not be silence, it should be silent. They have discovered the silent killer. This question goes with what I call word forms. And think of rules that go with parts of speech. Another example. The two students argued with one another. The two students argued with one another. Here. Argued with one another. This sentence is wrong. What is the rule that goes with reciprocal pronouns? Reciprocal pronouns, there are two in number, each other, one another. When we talk about two things or two persons, we should use the reciprocal pronoun each other. More than two, we have to use one another. So here, one another is not correct. The two students argued with each other. The two students argued with each other. This goes with rules related to parts of speech. And articles, I have given the example. These are difficult in my opinion, not easy. Whenever you come across a lengthy sentence, but time phrases based and reporting verb based, and if you take the word if, then you take passive voice, the combinations. Within no time, you can spot the error. After trying out all those things, still you can't find the error. Obviously, you have to think of word forms, rules related to parts of speech, rules related to articles. Only then you will be able to spot the error. After trying out all these strategies, imagine you haven't found an error. That means you have to go in for the fifth option. What is the fifth option? No error. Always respect the fifth option. Many students, they don't go for the fifth option. There's a reason why they have given the fifth option. What is the fifth option? No error. So sometimes you come across a sentence where there is no error. Then you have to choose no error. For that, you got to be very confident. To choose the fifth option, you need immense confidence. You got to be very good at English grammar. So these are the strategies when it comes to spotting the errors. And I will bring a lot of examples. I will show you a lot of examples. And we will see how to use the strategies. And based on the strategies, how to spot the errors. Let us have a look at some important examples. And when you see those examples, you will understand the importance of rules. I will not be able to touch all the rules. I will try to touch important rules. I will start with parts of speech. I will stop with concord. Let us start with parts of speech, some important rules. And the first one, nouns. I will try to touch one or two rules because I cannot touch all the rules. The first sentence, we have invited the gentries. They may give a lengthy sentence, but what matters here, the key words are very important. We have invited the gentries. Here, there is no time phrase. Whenever there is a time phrase, if you come across a time phrase, it is rather easy to spot the error. If at all there is no time phrase, then it is not easy. You got to become alert. You got to read the sentence very carefully. And we have invited the gentries. A very short sentence, crystal clear. It is in present perfect, no time. Then how do you spot the error? You have to look at the key words. We have subject verb. We, first person plural, have plural verb. No problem as such. We have invited. The sentence is in present perfect. The verb should be in past participle. No problem. The gentries. Now, the gentries, you have to know, the moment you see the word gentries, you should recollect the rule that goes with number related to nouns. What is that number? I gave about 5 rules. One of the rules, some nouns always in the singular form, but take a plural verb. And here, gentries, it is in the plural form. It is not correct. What is the correct sentence? We have invited the gentry. That is a correct sentence. Let me give one more example. The spring season has its own beauty. The spring season has its own beauty. Even in this sentence, you don't see the time phrase. The spring season has its own beauty. Then how do you spot the error? You got to become alert. You got to read the sentence very carefully. The spring season. Spring is a season. You may ask, sir, why the word season? Spring has got many meanings. A spring could be a small thing. You can stretch it, pull it, spring. But here, we wanted to convey the idea season. The spring season has its own beauty. It talks about possession. And the sentence is in present. It talks about a fact. The spring season has something. Has what? Its own beauty. Now here, its own beauty, nothing wrong with that expression. This sentence is not correct. Why is it wrong? The spring season, the moment you see the word spring season, you have to recollect the rule that goes with gender. In English, we have four types of gender: masculine gender, feminine gender, common gender, neuter gender. Neuter gender denotes neither male nor female. It goes with things or objects like pens, pencils. And unfortunately, English people, fortunately or unfortunately, English people, when they saw certain things, they were awestruck and they attributed to certain things masculine gender, to certain things feminine gender. Anything that expresses beauty and grace, they attributed feminine gender. The spring season is considered the most beautiful season, and because it expresses or denotes beauty and grace, they attributed the feminine gender. Based on that, here we cannot say its own beauty, we have to say her own beauty. The spring season has her own beauty. That is a correct sentence. Now let us go to pronouns. One example. The two brothers argued with one another. The two brothers argued with one another. Here, this talks about, let me add the time phrase. The two brothers argued with one another yesterday. The moment you see the time phrase, you got to think of the tense. Yesterday goes with past tense. The two brothers argued with one another yesterday. It is in past. So tense-wise, there is no problem. Then where is the error? The two brothers argued with. Here, one another. You should know one another. The moment you see this, you have to recollect pronouns. Pronouns, we have different types of pronouns. One of them, reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns are two in number. Each other, one another. Then you may ask, already you have learned, what is the difference between each other, one another? Or where do we use each other, where do we use one another? When we talk about two things or two persons, we use each other. When we talk about more than two, we use one another. Here, the sentence talks about two brothers. Then the sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? We cannot say one another, we have to say each other. The two brothers argued with each other. That is a correct sentence. With each other yesterday. One more example. They enjoyed a lot yesterday. They enjoyed a lot yesterday. The students of this institute enjoyed a lot yesterday. Here, I can give a lengthy sentence, but I am not doing it intentionally. You may ask, sir, why not lengthy sentences? Why not an unfamiliar context? When it comes to consolidation, when it comes to learning, when it comes to consolidation, you should always you should always have a look at easy sentences, familiar context, short sentences. What is the reason? Then your focus will be on the rule. While learning, while trying to consolidate, you should focus on the rules. That is important. Context is not important. And once you master the rule, you remember, you consolidate, then you should try examples where you come across lengthy sentences, unfamiliar context. But initially, at this stage, you have to focus on the rule. For that sake, I am not using lengthy sentences, short, simple, familiar sentences. Here, they enjoyed a lot yesterday. I'm trying to tell you each example that goes with a particular topic, English grammar, and how to analyze, how to look at the sentence based on the strategies I gave yesterday, and how to spot the error. Within no time, time factor is very important. When you read a sentence like this, your attention, you should focus on the time phrase. What is the time phrase? Yesterday. They enjoyed a lot yesterday. Yesterday, the sentence should be in past tense. Here, the sentence is in past. Then you should wonder, where is the error, whether it is right or wrong. The moment you see what is the verb here, they enjoyed. There is no object. They enjoyed how much? A lot. They enjoyed when? Yesterday. And these are adverbs. But there is no object. What is the object? If you get an answer with two question words, what or whom, that is your object. They enjoyed what? No object. Then, the moment you see the verb enjoyed, you have to think of the pronouns. Again, one type of pronoun. Which one is that? Reflexive pronoun. What is the rule that goes with or related to reflexive pronouns and reflexive verbs? There's an important rule already you have learned. And this is rather difficult to spot under pressure. A simple sentence also. It looks perfect, but it is wrong. Why is it wrong? The verb in English, certain verbs are used reflexively. What are those verbs? Enjoy, absent, avail, avenge, revenge, pride. And this particular verb is used reflexively. Then what is the rule that goes with reflexive verbs? If there is an object after a reflexive verb, you don't have to do anything. But if there is no object after a reflexive verb, then we have to use a possessive, a reflexive pronoun. A reflexive pronoun. A reflexive pronoun is missing in this sentence. So sentence is wrong. What is the correct sentence? They enjoyed. What is the subject? They, pronoun. What is the reflexive form of they? Themselves. What is the correct sentence? They enjoyed themselves a lot yesterday. This is also an important rule. Now let us go to verbs. One example. They fell many trees in our colony yesterday. They fell many trees in our colony yesterday. In what I'm using examples which have been given in different competitive exams. Do remember that. I always bring examples given in previous years. Already in some exam they must have given, and from previous years' papers. So this is how they ask the questions. It gives you an idea about how they ask the questions. They fell many trees in our colony yesterday. Again, yesterday, we have to use past tense. Here what happens, under pressure, all these, they're not easy under pressure. Here you see the time phrase yesterday, you tell yourself the sentence should be in past, you see the verb, it is in the past, it looks like that. So you may think the sentence is correct, but the sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? We have a verb, fall, fell, fallen. This is an irregular verb. You all know the meaning. Fall, fell, fallen. But there is another verb, fell, felled, felt. What is the meaning of this particular verb? To cut. Usually cut what? Trees. Now in this sentence, it is not this verb, it is this verb. And the verb should be in the past form. And what is the past form of fell? It is felt. So this is not correct. What is the correct sentence? They felled many trees in our colony. Not they fell many trees. They felled many trees in our colony yesterday. Under pressure, not at all easy. One more example. She hanged the clothes in the garden yesterday. She hanged the clothes in the garden yesterday. Again, yesterday, time is there. Hanged looks like it is in the past. You may think the sentence is correct. It is wrong. Why is it wrong? We have confusing verbs. Hang, hanged, hanged. Hang, hung, hung. This goes with persons, to kill a person with a rope. This goes with things. Here, clothes, things. Then we cannot say hanged. That's why the sentence is wrong. We have to say hung. She hung. She hung the clothes in the garden yesterday. That is a correct sentence. Now let us go to the next one, adjective. The rich is usually. This is a general statement. Exceptions are always there. The rich is usually arrogant. Now, this sentence is here, there is no time. Then you got to be alert. You got to read the sentence very carefully. And it is a fact. The rich is usually arrogant. Present tense. Fact, we have to use present tense. It is in present tense. Then where is the error? Here, what are the key words? Always look at the key words and also look at the subject and the verb. Usually arrogant, nothing wrong with this. Here, the word rich, it is an adjective. But in English, we can use adjectives as nouns. When we use adjectives as nouns, there is one important rule. What is it? We have to use a definite article, the, it is there, and we have to use the verb in the plural form. This sentence is wrong because here the word rich has been used as a noun, though it is an adjective. When we use an adjective as a noun, there are two things you have to keep in mind. One, we have to use a definite article, the, it is there. Second, we should use a plural verb. Is not a plural verb, it is a singular verb. So what is the correct sentence? The rich are. Plural verb is are. The rich are usually arrogant. Now one example related to adverbs. The train, this is rather easy. The train went fastly yesterday. The train went fastly yesterday. Yesterday, past. Went past. Nothing wrong with the verb. The train went. Then where is the error? You have to look at other words. The train, maybe we are talking about specific train, no problem. Train, no problem. Past tense, yesterday, past verb, went, no problem. Yesterday, no problem. Then you are left with this. If you know the rule, you can decide the sentence is not correct. Usually in English, we change adjectives to adverbs by adding ly. For example, sudden, suddenly, quickly. Using the same logic, a lot of people say fastly. It's a common error, but there is no word like fastly. What is the correct sentence? The word fast, it is both an adjective as well as an adverb. What is the sentence? The train went. How did the train go? We need to use an adverb of manner. And what is the adverb here? Fast. Fastly is not correct. The train went fast yesterday. It is a fast train. When we say it is a fast train, there fast is an adjective. The train went past yesterday. It is an adverb. One more example. He works the most efficiently of all the workers. He works the most efficiently of all the workers. Here there is no time. It talks about a fact. The sentence is in present tense. Has to be in present tense. What is the subject? He. Third person singular. Because the sentence is in present tense, affirmative form, what is the rule? We should add s or es to the verb. What is the verb here? Work. S, so no problem. He works. Then where is the error? The most efficiently of all the workers. Here efficiently, it is an adverb. Adjectives, adverbs, they change the form to show the comparison. They are known as degrees of comparison. There are three in number. What are they? Positive, comparative, superlative. And single syllable adjectives, adverbs, they take ER-EST. For example, fast, faster, fastest. Hard, harder, hardest. And if you take adjectives and adverbs with more than one syllable, multi-syllable adjectives and adverbs, they take more and most. For example, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Intelligent, more intelligent, most intelligent. Efficiently, more efficiently, most efficiently. Already you must have learned, whenever we use the superlative form, we have to use a definite article, the. Based on that, you may think this sentence is right, but this sentence is wrong. We should use a definite article the with the superlative form of an adjective. He is the most intelligent student in the class. He is the most intelligent, the most intelligent. But when it comes to the superlative form of an adverb, we should not use a definite article the. That is a rule. A lot of people don't know this rule. So they think the most intelligent, the most efficiently, the sentence is correct, but the sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? We should not use a definite article the. He works most efficiently of all the workers, of all the employees. Now let us go to degrees of comparison. One example. He is superior than me. He is superior than me. Here, it is also a fact, there is no time, present tense, he is something, superior than me. Then where is the error? The moment you see the word superior, you have to recollect comparative adjectives. Comparative adjectives like anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, senior, junior, elder, prior, and the verb prefer. All these take the preposition to, not the word than. Then the sentence is not correct. He is superior than me is not correct. That's a common error. He is superior to me. That is correct. Now let us go to prepositions. There is no one. There is no one besides her. A simple sentence, this is also in present, a fact, present tense. There is no one besides her. Now, where is the error? Here, the word besides. The moment you see the word besides, you have to recollect the prepositions rules, some important prepositions, especially pairs of prepositions. Already you have learned beside, besides, between, among. Here, beside, besides, what is the difference? Beside means next to. Besides, in addition to. Here it doesn't talk about in addition to, the sentence talks about next to. There is no one next to her. Then the sentence is wrong. Here we should not say besides, we have to say beside. There is no one beside her. Means what? There is no one next to her. Let us go to conjunctions. One rule. He is both a painter as well as a sculptor. He is both a painter as well as a sculptor. What is wrong with this? The moment you see the word both, you have to recollect the rules that go with conjunctions. Both always takes and common error people use both as well as. That is not correct. He is both a painter and a sculptor. He is both a painter and a sculptor. That sentence is correct. Now let us go to, I have touched almost all the parts of speech. Let us go to articles. He is He is a MP from this constituency. It is a fact. Sentence is in present. There is no time. Facts, we don't have to use the time. He is a MP from this constituency or that constituency, a particular constituency. Now, where is the error? This sentence is wrong. Here you have to look at subject, he, third person singular, is, no problem, no problem. From this constituency, nothing wrong with this, or that constituency, nothing wrong with that. Then MP, Member of Parliament. MP, what is the first letter? M. It is a consonantal letter, but it has a vowel sound. How do you pronounce M? E sound. That means any word that begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, we have to use the indefinite article an. So this sentence is wrong because he is a MP is not correct. It should be he is an MP. He is an MP. One more example related to articles. He goes to the temple every Saturday. He goes to the temple every Saturday. Here it is understood every Saturday going to the temple or going to a particular temple. Uh, what is the idea? To pray to God, to pray God. And here temple talks about the primary purpose. Primary purpose. And there is one important rule. What is it? If nouns like school, college, university, temple, mosque, church, hospital, in the sentence they talk about the primary purpose, then we should not use any article before that particular noun. What is wrong with this sentence? He goes to the temple every Saturday. Not correct. He goes to temple every Saturday. She is a student. She goes to school every morning. We should not say she goes to the school every morning. Primary purpose, we should not use any article. Now let us go to helping verbs. Quite often, exams, they ask questions related to helping verbs. There is one important rule. What is it? He should did the work immediately. Here there is no time phrase. It talks about there is a helping verb. What is a helping verb? Should. He should did the work immediately. Now listen very carefully. Many exams, they give questions related to helping verbs, but they touch one particular dimension. What is it? There is a rule that goes with helping verbs. What is a helping verb here? Should. Whenever you use a helping verb, and after that, if at all there is a verb, here helping verb, and this is also a helping verb. It could be a helping verb, after one helping verb, another helping verb, or it could be he should wrote the letter immediately. It could be a verb. What is a rule? After the helping verb, if you have to use another helping verb or a verb, that particular verb should be in the basic form without to. Basic form without to, we use the expression bare infinitive. Bare infinitive. Here, this has been given in so many exams. Bare infinitive. What is bare infinitive? Any verb has 5 forms like your 5 fingers. Basic form or infinitive, present, past, past participle, present participle. What is a basic form? To plus verb. And without to, it is called bare infinitive. So here it is in the past, wrong. In the past, wrong. Here, he should do the work immediately. This is the basic form without to, we call it bare infinitive. It is not the present form. He should write. He should write the letter immediately. This write is not the present form. It is a basic form without to, and we call that bare infinitive. And lengthy helping verbs, one example. He might have took the book. He might have took the book. Here, might have. What is a pattern? Lengthy helping verbs. Might have, could have, should have, and must have. The main verb should always be in the past participle form. So this sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? The verb is not in past participle, it is in past form. So wrong. He might have taken. He might have taken the book. Now let us go to tenses. I have touched parts of speech, articles, helping verbs. Tenses at random, important rules. He don't know how to swim. A common error. Sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? It is in present tense, negative form. And present tense, there are two rules. One rule, if the subject is third person singular, we should add s or es to the verb. Second rule, if that goes with affirmative form. Second rule, if the subject is third person singular, we should use does, the helping verb. If the subject is any other pronoun, we should use do. And this rule goes with interrogative and negative forms. Here it is negative form, and the subject is third person singular. Then don't is not correct, we have to say. He doesn't know how to swim. That is a correct sentence. Let us take I usually have coffee, but today I have tea. Already I have told you, present continuous. Today usually it goes with present perfect, but in this context it talks about breaking a habit. Then usually we use words like these days, nowadays. In place of these days, nowadays, here the sentence takes the word today. A regular habit, I usually have coffee, but a break from the habit, but today I have tea. That is not correct. We have to use present continuous. I usually have coffee, but today I am having tea. This is important. Today I'm having tea. Have here means drink. And past tense, an important negative form, very important. Interrogative also, very important. He didn't give the report yesterday. He didn't give the report yesterday. Here, past tense, negative, didn't. Did not, short form, didn't. And what is the rule that goes with past tense, interrogative and negative forms? There are two verbs here. One is did, the other is gave. For the first verb, we should use the past form. Do, did, it is correct. And the second verb, we should use a basic form without to, or bare infinitive. Then gave is not correct, it should be. He did not or he didn't give the report yesterday. And mind you, give here it is not the present form. We don't use a present form in past tense. It is a basic form without to. And what is that called? Already I have given bare infinitive. Bare infinitive. He didn't give. In the exam, they give a sentence like this. He didn't give the report yesterday. And this is a common error. Now let us go to past continuous. He is reading a book while she was cooking. He is reading a book while she was cooking. Here the context talks about two actions going on at the same time in the past. And he is reading a book while she was cooking. While she was cooking, past continuous, that time some other action was going on. For that also we should use past continuous. But here it is in present continuous. It is not correct. What is a correct sentence? He was reading a book while she was cooking. While she was cooking, he was reading a book. Both the sentences should be in past continuous. Two actions going on at the same time in the past, we should use past continuous. Now all the future tenses, there is one important rule, and they have given in so many exams. What is that? The new manager shall assign the work the new manager shall assign the work tomorrow. Tomorrow, future time. It talks about the sentence is in future tense. Then the new manager, that is third person singular, he or she. Then the sentence is wrong. What is the rule that goes with all the future tenses? We use will and shall with first person singular and plural. That means I and we. With all of the pronouns we use in the will, we should not use shall. Here it is third person singular, then we cannot use shall, it has to be will. The new manager will assign the work tomorrow. Same rule goes with future continuous, future perfect continuous. Now let us go to present perfect. They have given in so many exams. I would like to give two examples. The first one, he has submitted the report yesterday. He has submitted the report yesterday. What is the time phrase here, yesterday? And the sentence is in present perfect. This is an absolutely wrong combination, a common error. Because of that, in so many exams, they have given a sentence like this. What is it? Present perfect tense plus time in past. Wrong combination. He has submitted the report yesterday. This is wrong. Yesterday we have to use past tense, not present perfect. So, he submitted the report yesterday. One more example, present perfect. He has written 5 books. He has written 5 books since 2010. He has written 5 books since 2010. He wrote 5 books since 2010. This is correct. Since 2010, we have to use present perfect. In the exam, they may give a sentence like this. He wrote 5 books since 2010. How do you decide where the error is? Since 2010. Then we cannot use past, we have to use present perfect. He has written. One more example. I will go to present perfect continuous, the next one. I will give one example. Or present perfect, I would like to give one more example, rather important. He has seen the manager. He has seen the manager. This is one sentence, the sentence is right. He saw the manager. He saw the manager today. This is rather difficult to spot the error. He saw the manager today. Here, the time phrase today. Today is incomplete. Whenever we use an incomplete time period, whenever we use an adverb of time that indicates an incomplete time period, we have to use present perfect tense, not past tense. Today, this week, this month, this year, this season, we should use present perfect. This sentence is wrong because he saw the manager today. It is not correct. He has seen. He has seen the manager today. That is correct. Today, this week, remember, we have to use present perfect, not past tense. Now let us go to present perfect continuous. He is writing a book for the last 2 months. He is writing a book for the last 2 months. What is the clue for you? For the last 2 months. For the last 2 months means what? Something started in the past, it is in the present, it may go into future. Then we are not supposed to use present continuous. We are supposed to use present perfect continuous. He has been writing a book for the last 2 months. One more example. He has been reading those books since 10 years. He has been reading those books since 10 years. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? He has been reading those books. Nothing wrong with that part. It is in present perfect continuous. But the preposition since goes with specific time, and the preposition for goes with a time period. Here 10 years, it is a time period. Then we cannot say since. For 10 years or for the last 10 years. Let us go to past perfect. They started the program before I went there. They started the program before I went there. This is wrong. Why is it wrong? There are two actions that happened in the past, one after the other. Then, for the first action, we should use past perfect. For the second action, we should use past tense. I went to there, nothing wrong with this part, but they started is not correct. It should be. They had started the program. This is a clue. Before I went there. And past perfect continues. He was teaching physics for 2 years when I met him. He was teaching physics for 2 years when I met him. I met him, that goes into the past. And here the clue for you, the time period. For 2 years. Whenever we mention the time period, remember we should not use past continuous. We have to use past perfect continuous. This sentence is wrong. He was teaching is not correct. He had been teaching. Past perfect continuous. He had been teaching physics for 2 years when I met him. Let us go to future perfect. He will complete the syllabus by November. Now imagine this is October, or this is September. November, he will complete in the month of November, in the month of September, or in the month of October. Then, by a given time, what is a given time? November. This is, imagine September. Someone will complete the syllabus in October, and we are talking about November. That is a given time in future. By a given time in future, if some action is over, will be completed, then we should use future perfect tense. But here it is in future tense. So it is not correct. What is the clue for you? By November. What is the correct sentence? He will complete is not correct. He will have completed. He will have completed the syllabus by November. And future perfect continuous. Usually they don't ask. He will be reading that book for 2 hours at this time tomorrow. He will be reading that book for 2 hours. What is the clue for you? The time period. For 2 hours at this time tomorrow. The sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? Here it is in future continuous, but we have to use future perfect continuous. What is the correct sentence? He will have been. He will have been reading that book for 2 hours at this time tomorrow. Now let us go to question tags. One example. He comes every morning. Isn't it? This is wrong. He comes every morning. This is present tense. And what is the appropriate helping verb that goes with third person singular? Does. Does plus not doesn't, short form. Doesn't, and we have to repeat the subject. Doesn't he? This is the correct expression. Now, one example, passive voice. The students The students were informed yesterday. This is wrong. Yesterday, past. But here it is in passive voice. Any sentence in passive voice, the main verb should always be in past participle form. The students were informed. We informed the students yesterday. The students were informed by us yesterday. By us, we don't mention. And the work has completed by them. The work has completed by them. It is not correct. This is in passive voice, present perfect. Any perfect tense in passive voice, one word is compulsory. Which word is that? Been. That is missing here. The work has been completed by them. What is the actual sentence? They have completed the work. Active voice. The work has been completed by them. Passive voice. One example, reported speech. He asked me where I was going. He asked me where I was going. This is a common error. It is not correct. Here it is question in indirect speech. Then actual direct speech, the question is in interrogative form, obviously. When you change it to indirect speech, you have to use affirmative form. Here, where was I going? Where I was going, I'm sorry. Where was I going? This is what people say. He asked me where was I going? Where was I going? That is interrogative, wrong. And he asked me where I was going. Interrogative changes to affirmative. So what is the correct expression? He asked me where I was going. I was going, affirmative. If you say he asked me where was I going? Was I going? That is interrogative. Then it is wrong. This is a common error. Conditionals. If you have attended the function or the meeting, you would have met him. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? Whenever you see the word if, you have to think of conditionals. And which conditional is this? Past conditional. And past conditional, main clause we use would have verb past participle. Nothing wrong with this part. If clause, we should use past perfect tense. But here it is in present perfect, so it is wrong. If you have is not correct. If you had attended the function, you would have met him. Conditional. Now let us take one example that goes with subject-verb agreement. The newly appointed manager. The newly appointed manager who has come from Delhi. The newly appointed manager who has come from Delhi have, or I will use a different verb, look quite dynamic, means active. The newly appointed manager who has come from Delhi look quite dynamic. Here subject is manager. Sentence is in present. and manager, third person singular. Then sentence is in present affirmative. We should use, we should add s or es to the verb. Here, subject, verb, they don't agree. The newly appointed manager who has come from Delhi, don't consider that clause. The newly appointed manager looks quite dynamic. That is a correct sentence. That's all. Let me give one more example. Phrases related. Many birds have visited the park. Many birds have visited the park. Here, visited the park. This sentence is wrong. Why is it wrong? The phrase here, many a. This particular phrase takes a singular noun. Birds is not correct. Bird. A singular, excuse me, a singular verb. Have is not correct. Has is correct. Like this, every topic you have to think of, because mains, they may ask tough questions. So every topic you have easy rules, difficult rules. What I suggest, every topic you focus more on tough rules and also focus on advanced grammar. That will help you when it comes to the mains exam. Thank you very much.